I'm sharing my screen and we are going live. And if you wouldn't mind popping in the chat box that you can actually now see my slides, just so I know that I'm not imagining it. Yes, awesome. Yes, slides are up. Awesome. Great. So the first slide was hello and welcome for those of you who have just joined us late. Shut down your phone and Facebook and your tabs, please. And just let me know where you're from. What state or city are you in? I know I've got Clarencetown, I've got Moorabbin, I've got Harvey Bay. Harvey Norman, he's here too. All right. Noosa, fantastic. All right, so before we get started, I just want to let you know, because you registered, thank you so much. There's a special bonus for you at the end. I will definitely be sending you the slideshow with the audio recording. So please don't worry if you lose track of me and you can't keep up. I need to tell you that I talk very, very fast because I've got a hell of a lot of content to share with you today, and I want to make sure you get the most value possible out of the time that you've committed to spend with me. So I will talk really fast, but you'll get the replay at the end, because double checking that I've hit record. Whoopsies. Yes, we're definitely recording. Okay. So yeah, scribble notes as quick as you can, but you will get this. Also, you should have downloaded your cheat sheet that went out for those who registered in an email yesterday, and I think again today, but if you don't have it, just let me know and I'll send that at the end. And also, I've got another surprise bonus, which if you stay to the very end of the session, you will get to know what that is as well. I also need to tell you that in addition to speaking very fast, sometimes I swear, especially when I get excited. Okay, so if you're of the sensitive nature and you don't enjoy swearing, I'll try to minimize it. But every now and then, an expletive will slip out, possibly. So I hope that's okay. All right, we're keeping it real here. So who am I? For those of you who don't know. Yeah, Ju said you go girl. Yeah, oh, okay, thanks. You're okay with the swearing, dude. Awesome. All right, so for this next part, I'm actually going to switch off my video because I want you to be able to focus on listening to the content and watching the slides. I will pop back on as well so that you're sure that you're still talking to a real human being as we go. But basically, let me tell you a little bit about me really quickly. I'm the founder of My Holistic Nurse, and I created My Holistic Nurse about 5 years ago as I started to work on a holistic approach to healing my own life and the health of my family. A few of you might be familiar with me already. But basically, I'm a holistic registered nurse, which is a label, but among other things, I also combine all of my qualifications and skills in my work. So in a nutshell, my work includes holistic health education, development and writing, and lifestyle assessment and holistic health pathways, specifically for chronic conditions, both mental and physical, specifically also anxiety is my specialty, and chronic pain. And I also use energy psychology coaching and various other treatments to help people treat those chronic conditions in a natural way, medication-free. And I'm particularly interested in helping people break the cycles of dysfunction within families. This is so that the next generation that can actually have tools and skill sets to prevent mental and physical dysfunction and to heal the rifts within families intergenerationally. It's really, really important to me and something that is close to my heart and I've been working on with my own family. Okay, so my overarching passion, apart from all of that, is to help awakening human beings to cut through their stress and trauma, to light up and live from what I call soul shine, which is your own innate brilliance and healing capacity. And I've actually done a ton of research in cutting edge trauma and stress and how it impacts your ability to be awesome and light. And this is what I'm here to introduce you to today. In my SOS Shake Off Stress and Anxiety Without Meds program, I actually teach the tools that I'm going to be showing you in this session. And these are exciting new tools and techniques emerging. They're cutting edge to help you resolve personal life interrupters that are blocking you from activating your brilliance. I've been working in the field of energy psychology and energy medicine for about 25 years, and actually began teaching creative visualization, meditation, and mindfulness before it was a fancy thing that everybody was into, when I was 18 actually. I have formal qualifications, lots of those: Bachelor of Nursing, certificates in matrix re-imprinting with EFT tapping, mindfulness for peak performance, spiritual healing, Reiki healing, touch, etc., etc. And I've also trained directly with many awesome spiritual and scientific leaders, including personally working with Greg Braden, Credo Mutwa, who's the spiritual leader of the Zulu tribe. And I've even sat in private meditation sessions with the fabulous John Cleese during lunch breaks at his last Australian tours. Very fantastic man, very amazing, genius is John Cleese, and he gave me lots of good tips. So in 2010, I published Headspace, Meditate Your Way to Study Success, which is a meditation handbook, to help my fellow students in nursing increase their learning capacity to decrease stress and maximize their mental health. I'm also a solo parent of the beautiful Maya, who's 8.5 years old, and the vivacious 10-year-old Wilby. I'm also the creator of Therapeutic Applied Percussion, which I am about to commence a Masters of Research in, and also the ACT process, which you're going to hear about today. All right, let's get stuck in. Enough about me. Let's look at you. I want you to ask yourself this question and write it down and chuck it into the chat box as well. What is the most frustrating part for you about consciously creating your luminous life now, in this moment, this time-space reality? What is frustrating you the most? There's going to be probably more than one, especially if you're just starting out in the creationary process. But there's usually one main reason that you bothered to show up and come onto this webinar today. Usually one main area of life that you really want to level up, and there's a frustration around that leveling up that's causing disharmony, dis-ease, and you know, the struggle, that emotional struggle that's just constant. So let me know what that is. A couple of people are frustrated with lack of momentum, motivation. Few people in there have mentioned they just feel stuck. They're manifesting some things but not others. Getting overwhelmed or having brain fog and not being able to action what you know you want to action. Yeah, that's a big one. Stressed out, not being able to think straight. Yeah, okay, I get it. Been there, done that. It's not fun. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so let me know. I hope you've written that down. Oh yeah, also juggling. Yes, that's a really good point. And as women, we tend to take on all of it, you know. We tend to, you know, be doing the work, doing the house, doing the kids, doing the husband, doing the self-care, doing the children care. We tend to take it all on, and there's so much going on in our heads that it's hard to see what to do and how to be, and let alone feel ourselves. For me, it was actually PTSD and postnatal depression. I literally could not think. I couldn't understand my emotions. I was triggered all the time. I was trying to build a business. I was studying my Bachelor of Nursing. I was raising 2 children. I had Wilby was 16 months old, and my daughter was a month old when my partnership dissolved due to my postnatal depression. And so I was also a single parent trying to juggle it all. And it was pretty ugly. And actually, after I had my kids at 33 and 35 years old, my world really cracked up. I actually developed postnatal depression at that point, but it was on the back of post-traumatic stress disorder from a lot of traumas that I had early on in my life, in my early teens and late teens. And adding all the pressures of my financial situation, because I was literally on the poverty line collecting food and clothing from the Salvation Army after my partner left. I was 3 months behind on rent. I was facing eviction. I was increasingly physically sick with chronic fatigue, chronic pain. I was 40 kilograms overweight, covered from head to toe in hideous red welts. And at one point, I got so sick that I couldn't actually care for my children on my own. it was a disaster, it really was. I was literally beside myself, stressed off my head to the point of psychosis. By 2012, the compounded stress and trauma also triggered a chronic illness in my body called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. And in 2014, the connective tissue disorder was also discovered. That's what my son had, because he was getting sicker and sicker as well during all of this. And since then, my daughter has also been diagnosed with the disorder. So it was pretty horrible. And the toughest part for me was knowing logically that I needed to change, but just not being able to break free of this ridiculous continual dysfunctional loop that I was in with my health. And it didn't matter how many changes I seemed to make and how much I knew that I wanted to change, I just kept hitting the same never-ending loop. I'd climb out of one hole and use up a ton of energy to get out, and just step into another one. And it was pretty demoralizing, frustrating. I was in a constant state of despair and disillusionment. And this is pretty much what I looked like. So no, in that second photo, I'm not pregnant, but I might as well be by the look of it. And I don't like showing these photos. It's on one hand, it's uncomfortable to see myself like that. But on the other hand, I don't feel like I even know that person anymore. I'm so different to what I was at that point in my life. But at this point, just about 6 months later, actually, I made a massive decision that I couldn't keep trying to fix the problems. There were too many problems. So instead, what I realized, it was like a clangor going off in my head. I realized that I had to consciously create a different life and just start from where I was, just start to be different. Even though I was in pain and stress and suffering and struggle, and it was joyless for 98% of the time, there was no joy in my life either. At that point, though, I started to research and experiment with therapies, techniques, modalities, anything that I could lay my hand on, from quantum physics to mindset mechanics. I did spend a fortune in both time and money, around 6 years of that. And I wasted a lot of sanity trying to see therapists, healers, psychologists, doctors, psychiatrists, dietitians, naturopaths, skin specialists, and a ton more, just to get relief from my symptoms. And I made a little bit of progress, but it was painfully slow. I kept slipping backwards, and it was awful. And the worst part was that many medical professionals just told me it was all in my head over and over, that there was nothing physically wrong with me. However, there was tons physically evidently wrong with me. So who can relate to that? That, they've gone to the doctor for a while, and the doctors are like, well, yeah, there's nothing really wrong. We will do some blood tests, we'll do some scans, and nothing really much shows up for a while. And they tell you to go home and maybe just, have a bath, or they prescribe drugs, 15-minute consultation, here, have some medication. For me, it was no way to live, and I inherently knew that the medications were going to exacerbate the stress load that my body was already clearly under. And when I started researching, I discovered that that was actually the case, that adding toxins and side effects on top of a chronically ill body, mind, and spirit was going to make things worse. And there is plenty of research to show that now. So what I realized was that I had to shed the stressed out skin that I was living in and find a way to put shine back into my life without waiting for things to be improved, to just get on with it. And in my research, I actually found there's a missing link to healing that the medical profession doesn't tell us about, but which I have discovered you absolutely must know to recover from any chronic situation, whether it's mindset, whether it's emotional triggering, or actual physical manifestations of illness. And I'm going to tell you what that is later today. So this is us now. We are far better than this is the life that we choose to live now. And, it took a little while to get there, but with my research, I discovered some cutting edge tools, which I'm going to share a little bit about today, that radically transformed our reality in a very short space of time. I spent about, as I said, 6 years trying to fix myself. And about 3 years ago, I came across some amazing tools and techniques which rapidly sped up our transformation. And as I said, I'm a different person than I was 10 years ago. And certainly my children are coping magnificently and starting to heal as well as I do, or as I have. Okay, so now the beautiful thing is I get to share what I've learned through my personal journey of recovery, and I've developed a model for personal evolution and transformation that actually works without needing meds. And if you are on meds, it's okay, this still works, and you may be able to actually start to come off your meds, always with the consultation of your doctor, of course. I'm going to share some of that with you today. And my mission is to help people get as many, help as many people as possible to unlock your innate luminous soul shine, because this is what transforms you, because it feels amazing, and because I know that you have what it takes, just like I did. If I could get out of my hole, you absolutely can. The model and process I'll show you today is leveraged, as I said, for maximum impact, and is the crux of how I got off antidepressants, ridiculous painkiller medications. I healed my PTSD. My generalized anxiety disorder is gone. I lost 20 kilograms and I'm still on my way down. Published a book, completed my bachelor degree, and here we are in the beautiful Sunshine Coast, able to start enjoying things. I was coming from a long way behind the 8 ball, so I hope you're not in that bad a shape as I was. But if you are, I'm telling you my history so that you can see that change and transformation and a luminous life is absolutely possible. I want to highlight that for you today to give you some clarity and some hope that this can be done, to consciously create the life that you actually want. And the key is to not focus on the negatives of your life, but actually start to create from this moment onwards. So just type in the chat box, who's ready? Who's ready to commit to doing the work to have the luminous life that you really secretly know is possible, and that I'm going to show you is possible for you? Just type me in the chat box if you're actually ready to commit to doing the work and getting going on this thing from now. The best part for you guys is that you get to leverage off my efforts and learn of all of this without having to do the 300 strong research papers that I read to get to this point. Yes, yes, please. Yes, please. Lots of yeses. Thank you. Thank you. Good. Excellent. Yeah, so I spent at least $60,000 over the 10 years learning this stuff. And I did calculate it one day. I did actually add it up. It was scary. And I was spending about $600 a month, $500 to $600 a month on my own health, let alone my children's health. So I don't do that now. It's wonderful. I think all up, to maintain our health using beautiful, healthy products, organic food, some awesome supplements that really kick-started our metabolism from the hereditary disorder, I probably spend about $300 for all 3 of us in a month now. So vastly reduced fees. Because I learned these processes that I'm going to share with you. Okay, so let's get to it. What are you going to get out of this session? Well, I'm guessing you're here because you love the idea of creating the life that you want and having creative control, and you actively want more of the good stuff because you see other people who've got that, right? We see it all the time, and we say to ourselves, how come? How come I haven't got that? Or how come I can't get that? Or how come I'm stuck and I'm seeing that I need to change, but I just can't? So I'm going to help you discover your biggest block to a shining life. We're going to look at why goal setting is not enough to create your reality, and why active creation needs heart and mind in perfect alignment, and then more than that. We're going to look at the 2 creationary myths that are only half the picture. You'll discover what you need to do to actively create and activate your innate, oh my goodness, I'm going to start that all over again. Discover what you need to activate your inner creationary action potential. There it is, for creating the life that you want. We're going to touch on why you're feeling stuck and suffering, and the missing element that we must pay attention to for progressive recovery. But I'm not interested in progressive recovery. We don't stop at the end of recovery. At the end of recovery, we bloody well level up again and again and again. We don't stop this process. It's an unfolding. So just because you reach one level of recovery doesn't mean that you stop shining. You just get brighter and brighter and brighter. It's really cool. And we're going to learn how the ACT process can unlock and release stuck energy, trauma, stress, and emotional debris that is limiting your creationary power. That is what we are going to do. So what is your block? Let's check this out. There's usually 3 main blocks or 3 main issues stopping people from creating the life that they want. And the first one is that you're stuck in a loop. Now, let me explain what this is. The first big problem that people hit when redesigning their life and living differently is being stuck in this crazy, never-ending loop, or what I like to call same shite, different bucket syndrome. No, that is not a medical term. Don't go telling your doctor that you've got stuck in a bucket syndrome. That's not going to work. This is when you try and try and try, and you're making all this effort, and you think that this effort should be amounting to something. You do make a little progress, and then bam, you drop all the balls, and it feels like you have to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and start all over again. 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and the same patterns show up over and over and over again. You think you've made a different choice this time, but then you wind up back in the same situation all over again. Does this sound familiar to any of you? Yes, a resounding yes for many people. Well, this was definitely me as well, and it really sucks. It's a roller coaster, you know, and it takes so much effort to keep picking ourselves back up again and keep, quote unquote, trying. We've got to stop trying. And that's, you know, in the words of Yoda, what does he say? Do or do not. I won't do a Yoda voice for you. Do or do not. There is no try. You're either living a luminous life and choosing that, or you're not living a luminous life, right? There is no in between. You're not trying. And actually, I'll show you in a minute why trying is useless. Okay, yes, worn out from years of looping. I know, I get it. It's horrible. Thank you for being honest, by the way. It takes courage to admit where we're at. So well done. All right, the next big issue is that your results for creating are totally random. This kind of sucks as well. Perhaps this is you, totally over the randomness of life. You may have mastered conscious creation in some areas, like you may be, I know a lot of people like this, who are awesome at creating car parks before they get to the supermarket. Who knows how to do this? Yes, absolutely. Yes, car parks. I was really, really awesome at creating job opportunities. That was where I used to shine. My creationary power was so unconscious though. I didn't know at that point, this is 20 years ago, I didn't know at that point how I was manifesting all these amazing experiences. Working with Mariah Carey, John Cleese, Lou Reed, some locals like Eddie Maguire, not that that's anything to brag about. Random magic. Yes, exactly. Somebody said random magic. That's exactly what it is. But I want you to know how to not be random about it. Random, haphazard, taking what life gives you or what life dishes out isn't very satisfying, especially when you start asking yourself, I know what I want. Why can't I get this to work all the time? And this question comes up way too often. And maybe you're one of these people that's really great at consistently creating random money or free coffees or whatever. It's really lovely, and you should definitely focus on those things when they happen, because that's one of the keys to creating more of it, is focusing on the things that you love when they happen. Definitely keep doing that. But it's too random, right? You want an effective strategy to get consistent movement in the direction of your dreams, and to know how to transform the stress and struggle to move into the joy of life, and consistently, daily, see more of that, and to feel excited about what the day is going to bring and the results of your focused attention. All right, so the randomness is a feeling of it's not enough, it's not satisfying, it's not what you want, and you can get into a frustration loop, which is actually diminishing your creative power as well. So if this is you, you're ready to level up? Yes? to lighten up and get consistent creationary power in many, many areas of life, not just car parks. There's a few of you in that bucket. Okay, the next one, the last one, or these are the three most common. You lack follow through. Oh, I know a lot of people who struggle with this one. Perhaps you feel optimistic about creating your new life and manifesting your goals and intentions, and you kick off really, really well. You kick off perfectly, motivated, focused, and then bam, the reality kicks in and it's hard and it's full of effort and there's tons of new stuff to learn and it's all too scary, and all your best intentions start to sink into the abyss of the struggle of daily life. And the fire inside gets dimmer and dimmer, and eventually, feels like it gets extinguished altogether, and you beat yourself up. Why can't I stick to this? What's wrong with me? What am I not getting? Why can't I follow through when this is what I want, right? I know this dialogue. I used to hear this in my head all the time. And that ultimate question, how can I get my changes to stick? Amen, sister. Yes to all three. Oh my gosh, I know, right? It's awful. But, there's nothing wrong with resolutions, okay? It's important to have goals. We need resolutions to improve our lives, things that keep us rolling. Common goals like losing weight, making more money, spending more quality time with family, being less stressed, stopping smoking. These are all awesome. We need to know what we want. But what's with the lack of follow through? Because if we want that, why wouldn't we just get it, right? It doesn't make sense. You've tried a bunch of things to make changes stick. Things like goal setting, strategies, accountability, willpower, just forcing yourself to get up there and do it. And you're racking your brain to figure it out. And it's clearly not working, right? There's something else blocking you from creating this new reality that you want. And you need something really leading edge and totally different to create lasting transformation, but perhaps you just don't quite know what it is. You've got that inner feeling, the inner prompt, but nothing's showed up yet. And you really do want that life that's inspired and joyful and keeps you motivated through the hard stuff so that you can follow through on all those great visions and ideas that you have. I'm guessing there's a few of you that sometimes are in that boat where you just can't follow through. You start out well and then you drop off and for a few months you do nothing and sink into the abyss. I hope that's not you. I really do. But what it comes down to is, underneath all of it, regardless of what your biggest sticking point is, regardless of whether it's one of those three things or all of them, it's really, really likely that, like I was, underneath all of that, you're probably terrified that it's never going to happen. Yeah, somebody's had over 50 years of those habits. I know, it's terrible. So fear is what stands between you and your luminous life. Fear is nothing more than a resistance to change. It's a denial of life force flow. And when you resist and go into fear, you create stress, physical, mental, and emotional stress. And we know there is tons of research on stress that shows that you cannot think effectively. You cannot feel effectively. You cannot access your creationary power and your creative, intuitive passion when you are stressed. The brain goes all screwy. We go into fight and flight and freeze, and it's ugly, right? You cannot create when you are in fear. It's just a fact. This constant undercurrent of stress, anxiety, emotional triggering, physical pain. I know I was in agony most of the time because of the amount of fear and stress that I was under. You can't master these things when you are in that state. But what's really worse is that you're capable and smart and resourceful. You know that you should be able to do this. So what I want you to do, so migraines weekly, body aches and pains, anxiety, I know. It's really awful, and I don't want you to be in that place anymore. But what I want you to do right now is take a breath, okay? Because it's hard to look at this stuff, let's face it. So just take a really big breath right now. And blow it out. All right. What I want you to do is bring yourself into your heart. Just tune into your heart for a minute and ask your heart, what am I afraid of? And the first thing that pops into your head, I want you to type in the chat box. What are you afraid of? It'll be usually the first thing that comes in. Often there's things underneath that first thing, but the first thing is where we have to start. Start with the start. So just jump in that chat box and let me know. Okay, they're starting to scroll in. Fear of loss. Yeah, fear of not being successful, fear of failure. Do you know you can have a fear of success and a fear of failure at the same time? I used to flip between those. I'd be like, yeah, I want to be successful, but I'm afraid to fail. Oh yeah, I'm afraid to fail, but I don't want to be successful. You know, it's crazy. Yes, yeah, some people relate to that. Fear of leaving our family or friends behind. Fear of losing. Yeah. It's really fear. And what I find really fascinating, ultimately what you're looking at with fear is the fear of something being different. Fear of being seen, somebody said as well. Yeah, fear of visibility is a really, really big one, because there's a lot of self-judgment underneath that fear. Fear of not being worthy, fear of not measuring up, fear of letting people down. Yeah? Who can relate to any of those? For me, my biggest challenge with being visible and doing these workshops, I was terrified, for years of people looking at me and seeing me and judging me and making assumptions about me and my life. But now what I realize is that if I don't show up, people don't get to shift. People don't get to hear that it's possible to change. So I now see visibility as a gift to society. That's one of the ways that I was able to retrain my brain to show up. And I also had to show up for my family. I needed to show up and show my family that life didn't have to be hard, because the last thing I wanted was my children to grow up with fully fledged anxiety disorders, which they were already displaying at 6 and 7 years old. I couldn't bear the thought that my dysfunction was creating the same thing in my children. That was just too painful for me to deal with. Yeah, empaths do feel the judgments. Yes. And actually in the SOS program, what I do, because I work, all of my clients are empaths or sensitives, I like to call it. And I actually teach you how to manage your energy and manage being an empath, because we must master our energy to be able to handle what we perceive is coming at us from other people. Let's get on with this. It's crunch time, okay? You're here tonight because you really got excited about the idea of having a luminous life, right? That was why you came on. Because you went, oh, yes, that's what I want. I want to feel shiny and bright and enjoy my life. And you secretly hope that this workshop will give you some answers on how to do that and create the amazing life you know deep inside is actually possible because you've seen other people do it. So now it's your turn. It's time for you. And by the law of resonance, you would not be here on this call if you didn't vibrate in the same realms as me. And because I have leveled up, you can too. The nature of energy is that we resonate at similar frequencies. So you would not be here if it wasn't possible for this to happen for you. So let's get on with it and find out how to get past these sticking points to clear the fear and its bedfellows, stress, anxiety, physical and emotional pain, and consciously create your luminous life. And I want you to know one thing, and I want you to write this down. So grab your pen and paper. We have to know where we are now to know where we are going to work out how to get there. This is why we've just highlighted your blocks and your fears, okay? I know it's not fun to face that stuff and to actually acknowledge the pain that you're in because of it. It's really not fun, but we need to know where we're at. Now that we know, we can create something different. It's definitely not pleasant to face all the hard stuff, but it really gets us clear on what we would rather have and how to overcome the blocks. Okay? Before we look at how to move into conscious creation instead of conscious or reaction, because let's face it, half the time we do know we're reacting, we just can't stop it. Let's take a moment to acknowledge how well we're doing so far in our life. Be grateful for everything that has brought you and I here together to be in a position to start shifting into your new creationary reality. It's really important to not only acknowledge the pain and the fear, but to acknowledge our wins and to find appreciation for our path in life. Everything that you have done, every choice that you have made, has brought you to this moment in time to be on this workshop. It is not an accident that you are here today. It is no accident that you found this workshop. Your soul guided you here. Your soul knows what you need and will guide you if you are able to listen and take action on those inner prompts. So I just want you to get comfortable in your chair, and we're going to do a little process just to allow the feelings that we had just now when we were looking at where we're at, and get some gratitude and some appreciation feelings happening in our body, okay? So I want you to just sit comfortably with your hands in your lap, either up or down. I actually hold my hands in a mudra, so I connect my thumbs and I point my fingers and I fold the rest. Do you remember how you used to do, that? I can't remember it now. Here's the steeple, people, steeple, here's all the people. Anyway, so I hold my hands like this and I can feel the energy moving through the palms of my hands, and it creates a circuit in your body. And I want you to take a deep breath in, filling up your body with life force and energy and peace and tranquility in the knowing that you are in the right place. And breathe out. And as you breathe, imagine the air is literally flowing down through your body, through your physical body, through your abdomen, into your pelvis, down through your legs, out through the base of your feet, and deep, deep, deep into the core of the earth. And again, breathe in fully, setting your intention to breathe in peace and settled tranquility. Breathe in knowing that you're in the right place, and breathe out, down through your body, easily and gently, and into the earth. And with that breath, release anything that doesn't serve you, that is tense and tight and stagnant. Breathing in again, breathe in peace, calm, gratitude, and breathe out anything that is not that, down through your body and out into the ground. Our stress and tension doesn't hurt Mother Earth. She welcomes it, because Mother Earth knows exactly what to do to transform our negative, stuck, dense energy into beautiful, refreshed light. Yeah, and believe it or not, that was one of my fears when I first started doing this work. I was so afraid of everything. I was even afraid that Mother Earth would reject me. Like fertilizer. Yes, exactly. Thank you. All right. Now, you can place your hands on your chest if you like, but what we're going to do is breathe into our heart. And I want you to breathe into your heart center directly through your chest wall. So closing your eyes if that helps to concentrate. So breathe air in through the chest wall into the center of your heart. Imagine it swirling around there. And as you breathe out, releasing any stress and tension from your heart back into the environment. Breathing in through the chest wall. Breathing out, releasing everything that doesn't serve you in this time-space reality. Breathing in through the chest into your heart, letting the air flow around your heart, bringing soothing peacefulness. And breathe out through the chest wall and into the environment. If your mind wanders, it's okay. We just redirect our brain like a wayward toddler. We say, hey brain, thanks for letting me know about the ironing I haven't done yet. But come here, come with me. I'm breathing and it's fun. Okay, breathing in through the chest wall and breathing out through the chest wall. Incidentally, those of you who feel like you want to sleep, that is your body going into regeneration mode as you breathe. It knows that you need to rest. And so when we do this breathing process, a sudden desire to sleep is that your body's recognized a moment when it gets to go into healing mode. Okay? So try to stay conscious and let your body know that this is resting, that you are resting. Right here, right now, you are resting. Breathing in through the chest, breathing out through the chest. And now what I want you to do is bring a smile to your lips. And if it's been a rough day or a rough week or a rough year, sometimes it can be hard to find a smile. So what I like to do is think of puppies or kittens, or the beautiful, gorgeous butterfly that was outside my window right before I started this session. The butterfly is transformation, the chrysalis to the beautiful unfolding butterfly. And there's also a butcher bird that visits me at exactly 10 a.m. every morning and sings a beautiful song. So smile about something beautiful. Keep breathing into your chest and breathing out through your chest. And now what I want you to do is bring that smile, bring that feeling of that smile and allow it to travel down through your throat and into your chest, your heart. Breathe that smile into your heart, that smile of appreciation for the beauty that is all around you all of the time. Breathe the feeling of that smile deep into the corners of your heart, into the 4 beautiful life-affirming chambers of your heart. And let your heart cells receive the smile, receive the appreciation. Feel it. Good. If your mind wanders, just redirect it. Hey brain, I'm over here breathing and feeling a smile. Come and join me. And if your brain doesn't want to join you, that's fine. You just say to your brain, it's okay, brain. You go off and do whatever you have to do, but I am breathing. You are in control. Okay. Now, taking a single deep breath in, filling up your body with appreciation, expanding that appreciation through your body as you breathe in, filling yourself up completely. And breathe out and let the appreciation flood down through your body with the breath, dissolving any last remnants of stress and tension out of your body, down through your feet and into the earth. And if you've got your eyes closed, you can open them. And just let me know that you're still here. And if you've brought water with you, have a little sip. Okay. You're alive. Everybody's alive and awake and present. Yay. Good. Thank you. Thank you for the chat box comments. Yes, everybody's here. All right. How do you feel? How was that experience for you? Just give me a little indication of what's happening inside of you now. Do you feel a little more settled? Oh, sweetheart, this is the relief. It's okay. Let that out. She's feeling very emotional right now. It is so rare that we give ourselves permission to stop and feel and let some of the pain out. This breathing is called heart breathing. It is a technique that I learned from the Heart Math Institute from Greg Braden directly before they did the science on it around 20 years ago. And it is one of the most powerful transformational processes you will ever have. So whether you continue and decide to work with me or not, if you did this process frequently throughout your day, you will change. Your life will change. It takes courage to go there. because when we start to heal, we have to first feel. It's true. And sometimes when we get into our heart, we realize that there's been a lot of pain over our lifetime. And we need to shed that. We need to release that pain from our hearts so that we can get down deep inside of ourselves, deep in our hearts, where we truly live, where our soul shines. We get access to it through the heart. And if your heart has been shrouded in pain for a long time, we need to release it. And you can do it in small bursts using this technique. And I promise you, it gets better. It gets way better. And really quickly, the more you use this, the better it gets, the faster it gets. Yeah, long time of pain and suffering. I hear you. I had, when I really started to look at myself very, very seriously in 2012, I realized that my entire being was in agony. My entire soul was crying out for me to listen, to release my soul so that I could be different. And when we've had decades and decades of struggle, it can be quite confronting to start to open up to the healing process. So bravery, really amazing courage, you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Because every time you do this, you are leading humanity. I just got massive goosebumps. Every time you do this heart process, you change yourself and you change humanity. In the SOS program, in the training modules, I go into this in a lot of depth of the power of the heart and the power of various processes to unlock your heart's potential and access the gateway to the universe, because that is where true healing actually lives. It's not in trying to fix symptoms. Yeah, it's in shedding the skins that we've been wrapped up in, that tight, horrible, stress, painful skins that we've got, that we've picked up throughout our whole life. All right, I could talk on that for hours and hours, but we have a deadline. So we're going to keep moving on if everyone's okay with that. Okay, so far we have identified our main block, okay? And it's this block that's really, really obvious, usually in one area of life, but I can guarantee you if you've got an overarching fear, like for instance, the fear of visibility or the fear of stress or the fear of loss, it will be impacting you on every single facet of your life. In the SOS program, I have a thing called a me map, which we go through petal by petal, each aspect of life, and look at where we're at and look at where we want to be so that we can determine how we're going to get there, pathway, right? All right, so what I want you to know is that conscious creation is a process of evolution, not a destination. I'm going to switch off my video again. Write it down. Conscious creation is a process of evolution, not a destination. When you start this process, it is an unfolding of brilliance. It's not about your achievements. It's not about what you tick off on your to-do list. It is not about doing A plus B equals C, and we're going to look at that now. How can I consciously create my new luminous life? This is the big question. First, what we need to do is dispel a couple of myths. And the first myth is, number one, goal setting. Goal setting, in a nutshell, is the understanding that thought, thinking something, plus action, taking an action, equals the result that you set out to achieve, right? That is technically what we have been taught. What's interesting is that this is a masculine energy. Now, I don't mean masculine in the gender, I mean masculine in terms of energetic flow. It is a very masculine energy. There's nothing wrong with it. It's linear, it's hard, it's A to B in a direct line, it's structured, it is force, it is action, and it is directive. It is a forward, positive action energy. Thought plus action equals result. This is how we as humanity have been taught to get what we want, to literally set the goal, set the time frame, and go after it and push through, push until we get it, right? It creates an enormous amount of stress. Self-imposed deadlines are my nemesis. I'm mastering that one. It can work for you for a while, right? This is what's fascinating about this. The myth and the illusion is that this can work. And you probably do see it working in some areas, usually the areas that you don't have a massive emotional attachment to. But why isn't willpower working for you to get you the results in this creationary way? If it's reducing pain, if it's reducing emotional intensity or triggering, if it's, finances, whatever area of life that you're struggling with, thought plus action equals result is clearly not working. And actually, let me tell you, it's contributing to the dysfunction. Did you know that our daily conscious awareness, or what we call our willpower, makes up only 5 to 10% of all of our actions, thoughts, and behaviors? It is what I call above the line thinking. 5 to 10% of your brain is dedicated to conscious goal setting and actions that you actually know about, that you deliberately go after using your willpower. 95 to 90% of the decisions and actions that you take and the things that you think on a daily basis are being driven by your unconscious belief systems that are totally hidden from you. Not only that, but these unconscious programs that you're running are 90 to 95% not even yours. They're not yours. These are programmed into your unconscious mind throughout your entire life from conception. Not from when you're born, from conception. The minute your heart cells start to form into a physical heart, you are absorbing information from your environment and forming ideas about it. From the age of conception through to about 7, we're laying down neural pathways based on our perceptions of our environmental situation. And then, as humans, we add meaning to them. And all of this is hidden from you. It's in your 90% to 95% unconscious being, your unconscious mind. And it's what other people have told you about what you are, who you are, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, how you should behave, when you should behave, what you should wear, what you shouldn't wear, what color lipstick you should have on today. Yeah? Whether you're good or bad or ugly or difficult or the good child or the bad child. All of it happens, whether you're worthy. I see a lot of people, my clients, who have in utero trauma because as they were conceived, their parents were in enormous stress and trauma themselves. And those babies developed with the understanding that they perhaps were not wanted or that their presence was stressful for their parents and therefore they were, trouble or not good. So this is fascinating work and makes up a chunk of my research and the processes that I teach in my programs and with my private clients. So when we're experiencing blocks in our creationary power, at least one of the main areas of our life is not working for us, and it's likely you have a degree, either significant or mild, but still a degree of stress around that. And you're coming at it from a perspective of reactionary energy. You're basically running around problem solving instead of creating. You're reacting to everything that life is throwing at you because of your 95% unconscious programming. It's really not effective. And this is why, as I said before, trying is not going to work to create the life that you want. If you just use your head for goal setting, it's not completely effective in some areas, and you know this. You're only using 5 to 10% of your creationary capacity, your mind's capacity. That's a fraction of what you're capable of. But wait, that's only the first myth. Let's look at the second one. Feeling plus inaction equals results. So feeling what you want plus inaction, which is sitting back passively waiting for the universe to bring it to you, equals a result. And for people who randomly create car parks and jobs, things like that, it's likely that you are running mostly from intention. You're feeling and you're not really doing anything about it. You're feeling good and it's all great. And you do get some results every now and then. But it's inefficient because you're not aware of how you're doing it, again, because it's still unconscious. 5% of it, you're conscious, and 95% of it, you're like randomly creating according to the unconscious programming in your energy system and in your mind. 95% of the time. So the interesting thing about this is that it's feminine energy. It's the direct opposite of goal setting. It's not female, it's a feminine energy. It's indirect, it's flowing, it's nurturing, it's soft, it's cyclical. It's more like A to Q to D to Z, and it's receptive. Oh, yes, thank you. That's an interesting belief. Somebody's just mentioned in the chat box that there's also a belief that there's something wrong or something broken. Yeah, that's a big one. And if you watched my live, I went on a rant yesterday about healing and how we've got to stop thinking about healing as if we're trying to fix something that's broken about us. Healing is not about being broken and needing to fix yourself. Healing is about shedding the skins of stress and fear that you hold and shining out through all of that in spite of all of that. Healing is a process, not a destination. And this is what I really want people to understand. You're not broken. You've had some stuff, you've had some pain, you've had some traumas, you've had a lot of stress throughout your lifetime, some more than others, but you are not broken. You are perfect and you are light. And that's what I want people to know. So feeling plus inaction equals results, usually, as I said, random results. And for a fleeting moment in your day, you get really excited about having something or fulfilling a dream. And it's really cool because you got that free coffee. But then, you feel good for a sec and then you forget about it until it magically appears in your life a few days or weeks later, or sometimes never. Or perhaps you feel how wonderful your intention is. You feel how much you want it. And sometimes we do hear that voice inside that calls us from deep down in there. And in the next instant, our brain kicks in and says, I'm sorry, you suck, you're not good enough, you'll never have that. Our brain, literally 95% of our brain that has all those horrible unconscious belief systems, some of them are good, by the way, but it overrides our dreams and we get hit with a barrage of limiting beliefs. Things like, you're broken, you're wrong, you can't do it, you're not good enough, you're not strong enough, you're not this, you're not that, there's no way you can have that, it's not for you, it's too much. I know that you are all familiar with these dialogues. If this is happening to you, you're mostly in your feminine energy when that happens. And then because that doesn't feel good, you bounce into your masculine energy and you try to set goals to achieve what you want. And so you're in this horrible tug of war between yourself, flipping from feeling deeply and inconsistently to the masculine taking actions in the direction of what you think is what you want. Okay, what do? We need to marry the two of these together. Not flip between the two of them, but integrate them together and use them like a dance in a timely manner. Feel when it's time to offload some of that stress. Set our intentions for what it is that we are creating, and then use our brain to set some steps in place, but allowing for flow and flexibility between the two. It's literally a dance of energies. We must work with both of these energies. We need to know what's in our head and our hearts, along with how and when to use each one and how to synchronize them to get them talking to each other and working together in harmony in order to create the life that we want and to maximize your power. This is actually called heart-brain coherence. There's tons of science on this now. When I started doing this, there was nothing. I just had the privilege of working with Greg Braden directly and was instructed by him on this. Now there's tons of science on the Heart Math Institute website that you can use to research yourself if you're interested. But I've done all the research for you and this shit works. But when we're truly conscious and we understand the workings of our own heart and head, we increase our field of influence by creating a strong and embedding electromagnetic field, which literally talks to the fabric of the universe and calls the resources we need for the life that we want. Now, fortunately for you, your soul called you to this. That was one of those beautiful creationary moments that got you to this webinar. That's what happened. Now, obviously, this is a ridiculously enormous topic, and I really haven't got time to go into it today, which is disappointing, but we cover it really, really thoroughly in the energy medicine module of the SOS program. And if you decide you want to work with me, there are lots of other things that we cover there, or you could choose to work with me privately, and I take you through these things together, you and me, one-on-one. Okay, so suffice to say, goal setting is not smart if you don't engage the heart. Okay, it's a nice little mantra for you. Goal setting is not smart if you don't engage the heart. I love it when things rhyme. But there's something else. Dun, dun, dun. There's something else that needs to happen to get cracking in your conscious creation, which I'm going to cover really shortly. Energy. Now, you've heard me reference it a few times. I talk in the language of energy. Okay, let's take a breath. I've touched on some really big concepts so far before I get into this bit. How are you going? Does all this make sense so far? I just want to check in with you. Okay, make sure that this is resonating. Make sure that you understand what this is doing in your life. And so just pop in the chat box that you're all good and that you're getting it. It's making sense. And if not, then ask a question. Yes, making sense. Great. Absolutely. Perfect. Thank you for the comments. All good. Fabulous. Everyone's on board. So let me recap. We've learned that we need to uncover and use the other 95% that is housed in our creative unconscious mind to unlock our action potential and to be able to fire it into our heart and create a luminous life. We also realize that we must take care of our mind, body, by reducing stress, frustrations, and fear, and to clear the unconscious fears that are creating blocks in order to shine through our life. And there's a ton more to it, obviously. I really wish I could go into it today, but I do need to keep pushing on. So here we go. Here's the kicker. It sounds like that's all you need to do to consciously create, doesn't it? Well, yes, we do. We need to coherently work between the heart and the head to create a harmonious flow between the two. The heart's information is sent to the brain. The heart came first. If we don't get into the heart, our brain is only running at 5 to 10% effective. This will get you a lot further than how you've gotten so far, okay? So what I've taught you up until this point, if you use just that, you will get a lot further than you have at this point, okay? But there is a third ingredient, this ingredient of energy, that people ignore or don't understand. And it is the missing element. It is absolutely essential that you understand the nature of energy. The medical system doesn't tell you about this. They're all, big on the mind-body connection, and your mindset influences your body and your body influences your mindset, and that's fantastic. It is to a point that way. But if you don't include the understanding of the human energy system, which is a proven thing. It does exist. It can be measured. The instruments have gotten better and better, and over the last 5 to 10 years, there is phenomenal scientific proof now about the energy system. The thing is, our belief systems are not just in our unconscious mind. What we see in our unconscious mind and our conscious mind, our thoughts, is a reflection of the energy that is stored in our human energy field. Our thoughts are a reflection of the energy patterns stored in our field. That's really important. This is why thinking positively and doing affirmations and changing your mindset will only get you so far, and really isn't enough for some of the more, definitely the chronic beliefs, the chronic behaviors, the chronic pain, the chronic anxiety. You must deal with your energy field. Okay, the beautiful thing is we learn to access the energy field through our mind and body interface, our human physical interface. And as I click, you'll see how we collect traumas all the way through our lifetime, starting with little tiny ones when we're small, or in utero, all the way through to about 7 as our wiring happens. This is what happens to your energy field as you experience trauma and stress, and basically fear, all right? This is what happens. You collect these clouds of dense, heavy energy. These actually look like networks of patterns. A beautiful emotion has a coherent pattern, what we call a coherent pattern, and it looks gorgeous. It's symmetrical. These ones that are trauma patterns are ugly and jagged and heavy and thick and mucusy and gross. I can see them. They're not fun. All right, so this is what happens. You can see that these big clumps of dense energy actually take up space in your energy field, and they block the life force. So this is why you need mind, body, and energy. Now, I like to think of it as the Luminous Life triad. And the triad includes right mindset. This is what you need. Right mindset, right movement, and right medicine. Right mindset is obviously positive, visionary, inspired thoughts that come from your heart, not your head. Inspired thoughts, beliefs, vocabulary, and goals. You definitely need that. Body, right movement. Now this involves exercise, movement of blood and lymphatic system in your body, movement of the cells, vibration of the cells, and fueling your body with life-affirming activities, food, drinks, energy, right medicine. This is beautiful. This is the energetic flow of your entire energy blueprint, your system, your energy flow. So the movement of chi through your body flows directly into your energy field. So you need right medicine. You need to know what your own innate energy medicine is. You have some. It's in your heart. It's in the beautiful heartbeat. Did you know every single person has their own unique melody that literally is a series of tones that is imperceptible to the human ear, but with certain equipment we can measure it now, that your heart has its own musical melody. You can measure the tones. It's beautiful. This is your energy medicine. And you can see from the previous slide, if you are messed up with stress and fear and trauma, you're not going to have easy access to that beautiful melodic flow that you are. So huge topics, each one of these. And I do have training on every single one of these things, in-depth training in the SOS program. But today I want you to be really clear on the idea that the mind-body connection is incomplete and that there are in fact 3 areas of our being that we need to pay attention to in order to consciously create a luminous life and lift ourselves out of symptoms. Not fix anything, but lift ourselves and raise ourselves through that and transcend it. Transcend the stress and the struggle and begin to get seriously awesome momentum across mind, body, and your energy system. What you will also need, yeah, it is interesting. I know, it's fascinating. Oh my goodness, I could be here all day teaching this stuff. This is what I get really, really excited about. So I've got to stop myself here. So what you're also going to need is a strategy, a process that simultaneously helps you to uncover the limiting belief patterns and blocks that are hindering your process, reconfigure your brain, open up your heart's innate wisdom, and clear your stress, clear your traumas, clear your energy field. And you can definitely do this. Okay, the 3 key steps to getting calm, connected, and free of a life, what I call life interrupters: stress, anxiety, fear, doubt, pain, fatigue, etc. You should have gotten this. If you haven't, as I said, just let me know. In the beginning of the workshop, I told you we'd look at this. So this is the ACT process. Let's check it out. The ACT process is a 3-step multi-dimensional process for creating transformational change in any area of life. Everything from health problems to creating more money. And it works across acute issues, so in the day, immediate stressors, okay, immediate emotional triggering or pain flare-ups, acute issues, and also across the range of chronic conditions. Now, I need you to know there's a rough formula with chronic conditions that if you've been chronically ill, for every year that you've been chronically ill, it will take a month's worth of work, if you like, or a month, I don't like the word work, a month's worth of accessing your divine intelligence to counteract that year of chronic illness. So that can sound daunting, but never fear. I have found some phenomenal tools to ramp up that chronic recovery to be a whole lot faster than it used to be. So, but it is important to know that. Also important to know is that balance is a false assumption. We are never 100% balanced. I need you to write this down. We are never 100% balanced. Because of the dance that I was talking about before between masculine and feminine, we are always in flux, shifting between masculine and feminine, depending on the circumstances and depending on what's required of you. And when you understand all of what I'm talking about here and start to integrate it, you'll understand exactly what moment to employ feminine or masculine energy, whether to employ your heart or your head. But as a general rule, always go to your heart first. It is the master organ. So I want you to write this down. I am in the act of balancing. Like a tightrope walker, you're going to make adjustments as you go to stay balanced, but you're never going to be 100% balanced on the tightrope of life, okay? So give up the idea of balance. Stop trying to balance. Stop trying to be balanced. You just need to be in the act of balancing, fine-tuning as you go. You will not be perfect at everything, every second of the day. You will always be fine-tuning adjustments according to your inner knowing and your own innate energy medicine. Okay, so the first step in the ACT process is to acknowledge, and we did this today. So congratulations, you have just experienced the first step, to identify and acknowledge what is not working. And we do this in the moment on a micro level, and we also apply this step to the macro. So we look at our whole life and what's not working. But we do it with an attitude of curiosity, non-judgment. You know, there's no point looking at life and going, oh my God, my life sucks. I suck. I'm terrible. That's so bad. I'm so awful. That is not helping you. We look at it and we go, wow, check that out. I have been running this unconscious program that I just realized around money that I'm not allowed to have more than my closest male. That was one of mine. I suddenly had this epiphany. My money blocks I was working on, I realized, I acknowledged, oh, I'm not allowed. For some reason, I've assumed that I'm not allowed to make more money than my dad, which is a big problem now that he's a pensioner. So acknowledge, you've done that today. So congratulations. Step 2, connect with your body. We must be in our bodies. Our bodies are our barometer. They give us direct messages that show us where our fears are stored, that shows us where our stress is stored and where to clear it. Okay, so you need to connect with your body to calm your farm. Now, the way that we do this is through our heart, as I've alluded to already. We calm ourselves down, we get clear of the white noise in our head, and we access our energy field this way. But we must first use step 2 and connect into our bodies, to be in our bodies. And honestly, to start with, if you've got chronic pain, that can be challenging. But don't do it in big chunks. Just do little bits at a time. Check in with your body and ask it what it wants from you. I do teach you how to do this in the SOS program. And we use simple but powerful breathing techniques like that one you just did, the heart breathing, to settle our nervous system and switch off the fight-flight response on a physical level, and also to access our energy field. I've actually experimented and researched about 20 years worth of breathing exercises and I've worked out how and when each one works the best, and I've discarded a bunch that don't work, and I've found out which ones are the most effective and the most leveraged, and I've narrowed it down to 4 really effective methods of breathing for specific circumstances, and I teach my clients this. It's really important to know. Step 3, transform your experience of life using powerful, leveraged self-treatment tools and techniques that you will have for a lifetime. This is the crux of the ACT process. Take charge of your world. You don't need to be going to therapists and doctors and healers and this and that and the other. I was talking to a friend about this last night. We were chatting about the fact that now we don't go for a massage because we're in pain. We go for a massage because it's luxurious, because it feels good, because we love massage, because it's a beautiful, nurturing hour in our day that we get to feel amazing. So you're shifting the perspective. You're not going to the doctor because you're broken or you've got problems. You go to the doctor because you need some insight. It's a very different mindset. I go to the doctor very rarely now because I don't need to, because I've learned these leveraged transformation tools that I've been able to practice myself in my own home daily. But if I do need to go for something, it's usually because I've identified a problem using my own innate energy medicine, and I've identified that I want to verify it. So I go to the doctor and I ask for blood results to verify what I already know is there. And then I take the blood results and I decide what I'm going to do, what steps I'm going to take next to transform my experience of that reality. Very different mindset. For this step, we must learn how to self-treat, to transform our unconscious patterns using leading-edge therapies, techniques, and treatments that are leveraged for maximum impact across the mind, body, and energy fields. Remember, if you're not working across all three of those domains, you're only getting a smidge of your innate power, okay? And you will not be able to heal completely if you've got chronic conditions. Learning these tools is actually way easier and more achievable than you might think. And it can save you, as I've mentioned, bucket loads of time, can really speed up your healing process. Time, money, and energy greatly reduced to be able to do this yourself whenever you need to, instead of waiting to go to that appointment with the psychologist, instead of waiting to get slotted in for a 7 to, I think some doctor appointments are 7 minutes long now. You know, that's not effective. And you get to choose the most direct route for the life that you want and take leverage steps. As I said, with the doctor visits, I now go just to get blood results because that is the fastest way for me to verify what I'm already getting intuitively and then make a choice about what treatment is going to be appropriate for me. So self-treatment, it's possible for you to actually heal and clear your limiting beliefs and energy field yourself once you know how to do it. And once you know how to do it, you have this amazing lifelong skill that you can pass on to your family, not to mention being able to self-treat everything from blocks in manifesting to relieving pain, fatigue, anxiety, stress, improve communications, recover strained relationships. It's a game changer. There are so many options. Sometimes we do need to see a practitioner if we can't see the wood for the trees or we're too deep in our chronicity. Sometimes it's useful to have an outside perspective as you get going, somebody who's trained to see the energy field and locate hidden belief structures to speed up the process of creating the new life that you want by clearing out some of the bigger core blocks or congested patterns that we can't see ourselves. Sometimes I go and get a practitioner to do this with me. Once a year, I'll know that there's something I can't shift alone and I need extra power, extra boost, and I'll ask a practitioner to work with me for that. But I was seeing a therapist, 2 therapists a week for years and years, and it was a very expensive process and I wasn't really getting far. The ACT process, brilliantly, is cumulative. The more you use it, the more you activate your creationary power, and the better you get at knowing what transformation tool you most need to improve your situation and make more self-loving choices. Let's go back to the original question. What's the most frustrating part about consciously creating your luminous life right now? Let's tie this all together. You came to the training today because you're sick of the looping roller coaster and you want to break the cycle that's keeping you stuck. You want to find a way to be less random with your creationary results, and you're sick of being pushed and shoved by the universe that doesn't appear to be listening. It is listening. It's just that you can't hear it. And you're sick of the stress and the daily struggle and the roller coaster that's blocking you from achieving the health, wealth, and happiness that you know you can have, that should be available to you. Well, I'm here to tell you it is. You guys are ready to make a change, right? You're ready and willing to move forward. So what do you need? What are your next steps? What do you need most now to open the door to a luminous life? In my experience, most people lack one or more of these 5 things to consciously create. So which ones, type in the chat box, which ones of these are you lacking? Where are your weaknesses? You might have just one area that you're wanting to transform, but you may still need extra of one of these things. If you're experiencing a weak spot in any of these areas, it's going to be tough, honestly, to get the results you want in the long run. So commitment, you might be having trouble committing to change. You're serious about it, but you have an unconscious block that's stopping you, and you just can't seem to do it. You may even get up in the morning thinking, yep, I'm going to do it today. I'm going to commit to myself. But you end up wasting hours in front of Facebook or avoiding your pain, avoiding your head, distracting yourself with work. Yep. Okay. So the results are starting to come in. Bits of all. Some people have got that they need more support, solutions, consistency. Yep. Solutions. Yeah, all three, all five, I mean. Well, I want to tell you once and for all, consistency, there's another one. Okay, courage is the one thing that you people are not lacking. Okay? Even if you feel like you're not brave enough to step up, you already did. So I know the fact that you're on this call today tells me that you have got courage. So that one, you can cross that one off. That makes it easier, doesn't it? So now you're only needing commitment, consistency, support, and solutions or strategies. All right. Thank you for your honesty there. I appreciate that. When I made the decision to get well and move into a shinier way of being, I did it all by myself. It was awful. I had to find out everything that I needed to know. And I read, as I said, about 300 journal articles and eventually formulated my own plan and pathway. I documented everything that I did as I went along. That's just what I'm like. But it means that you get to learn it all without having to go through all of that yourself. My biggest weak spot was solutions and strategies. I really had to create those for myself. And as I said, I invested about $60,000 over the years in countless training courses to get the knowledge I needed to keep going. And later on, I hired a coach, but now I hire a coach because I want to level up even higher. So I have a business coach because that's the area in which I'm the weakest, and I needed support and solutions and strategies for my business. So I've been working with somebody too. And I find that really, really useful because, as I said, our coaches or our mentors can see more than we can. We're blinded by our own unconscious patterns. It can be extremely difficult to change your unconscious programs and shed your own stress skins when you haven't got commitment, consistency, courage, support, and solutions. All right, let's look at moving through some of these doors. Door number one. Here are your options. Door number one, don't change a thing. There are 3 of these doors. This first option is basically keep on going, doing exactly what you're doing. Don't change anything. That's okay. There have been times in my life where I have chosen door number one for a while and not changed anything. And it's okay, you can do that. And sometimes people need to do that because, you know, as humans, we seek either avoidance of pain or we either avoid pain or we move toward pleasure. If the pain's not big enough yet, you might choose door number one. If you're not in enough pain and you're not ready to change, that's okay. And it really does take commitment to yourself above all else to make lasting changes. So if you're not ready to commit, door number one's for you. Door number 2, use the ACT process. Use that breathing technique that I showed you earlier. Door number 2 has been my gift to you today. Basically, I've explained the myths and how you need to synchronize the heart and head and the masculine and feminine. And you've now got the steps of the ACT process to be able to see your priorities and what you need to do to expand into a luminous life. You probably also already have some tools for transformation. You just need to apply them, like things like exercise, diet, aromatherapy. But if those things aren't working for you, we'll get to door number 3 in a minute. Door number 2 is a solid option. You can definitely do just this. It's simple and effective, and if you use it every day, you'll start moving in the right direction, and it will eventually get you where you want to go in time. This is how I started making headway before learning some more kick-ass transformation tools that are much faster and more rapid and powerful and really got me moving quickly, and I have completely transformed my entire life. So door number 3, I like door number 3. It's my favorite. Go deeper, go faster, and remove the hidden blocks. If you're a bit like me and you're not interested in living a half-life anymore, and you've spent years doing that anyway, you might want to choose door number 3. Now, if you are committed to living on purpose and creating the life that you want, this is your door. Take it deeper, make it faster, learn how to actually address these underlying blocks and get past them. Get past that never-ending loop of the same shite, different bucket syndrome in a conscious way and get actual results that last. And when you are in a funk, you will have tools that you can turn to immediately without having to wait for a practitioner to solve your problems. This is the huge power of door number 3. It's not relying on other people. You get to take control of your health immediately for yourself. So imagine what life would feel like if you started to see real results in your life. Feel better, have more money, less stress, more peace, more calm, happier family, less weight, no pain. I am now pain-free. I was racked with pain for years. I am 100% pain-free and not on any medications whatsoever. And I've used a variety of self-treatment tools to be able to get to that point. And now if I do have pain, it's a signal to me that I am holding fear in my body somewhere. And so I then have the tools to be able to clear that fear and the pain goes away. It's phenomenal. A lot of people live below the line here. This is the threshold or the tipping point. And when you reach tipping point, it's, there's a bit of work to be done. You might have some backward steps along the way. You might, have a few moments of, yeah, I've got this. And then, oh my God, that hurts again. I can't do this. But you'll have tools to get you back up again. But what's happening is that you're consistently moving up toward this threshold. And when you crack it, it is phenomenal how rapidly you start to progress into that luminous life that you're creating for yourself. Below the line is fear-based, negative, pain, illness. Above the line is love-based, positive, healthy, financially successful. I've noticed that myself enormously since I crossed over this threshold into an above the line life. Okay, so I wanted to just tell you a little bit about how you might be able to work with me if that's something that interests you. For those of you who are curious about working with me further and need a bit of support and some strategies and more self-treatment tools, stay on the call and I'll just tell you a little bit about that now. SOS is my signature program. It's called Shake Off Stress and Anxiety and all the other things too, fear, pain, illness, all of it, without medication. Okay, this is what I have come to learn, is that we can do it. And if you're on meds, it's likely that you'll be able to get off meds, obviously not without your doctor. So that's the program, what it's called. And it basically is a beautiful portal of resources and strategies and support and self-treatment tools that will help you transform your world very, very quickly. These are the fastest things I've ever come across. And I've been working in the field of natural health for 25 years. So you'll have a preparation module where I will work with you to set out your step one. We'll get aware and acknowledge all of the stuff that we are not happy with and what we want to change. There's comprehensive training modules, video, we've got audio, playbooks, cheat sheets, resources, strategies, live talks that I've given over the years. You'll have 4 levels. So ground level is your freedom foundations. We go through the me mapping process for health planning, the ACT process in depth and how to use it in various circumstances, a holistic health model, acute stress and anxiety self-regulation techniques. So that's give you stuff straight up to manage your daily problems, your daily pain, your daily fears, your daily stress. Then we move into dealing with the chronic stuff. Level 1, mastering your mindset, turning around those unconscious limiting beliefs, getting mindful of what's going on in our heads. And there's a bonus 6-day challenge in there too, which I love. It really rocks. I'm getting amazing feedback on how that's really helping people with their mindset. Level 2, energy medicine is my favorite. I'll teach you everything I know about accessing your innate energy medicine. How to clear your energy, how to not buy into other people's energy and have them, smacking into your energy field and throwing spanners in the works, and how to read your own energy so that you can know what's yours versus what's everybody else's and start to create some space around you so that you're not reacting to other people's issues. Level 3 is body consciousness, and this is how to use your body to create transformation in your physical self, your mental self, and your energetic self as well. This is where the rubber hits the road, and we really use self-treatment tools to clear as much unconscious garbage as we possibly can stored in our 95% consciousness. I also have a private Facebook support group. This is really essential, I find. This is where you can get additional live training from me. If you've got a problem, you type that into the group and I will directly answer it with a video or an audio or a text response to help you with your coaching. I also do group energy clearings in there, which are really fun because the group energy makes things even stronger. Things called tap-along treatments and coaching. As I said, there's questions in there. There's also weekly accountability, so we can keep track of how you're going. I'm not going to let you drop off the radar. It's important to have support to keep you going in those rough times, and the supportive community is fantastic. There's also access to me for e-mentoring via email and messenger text. But, oh, that's right, the special bonus. If you decide that you want to work with me further and you enroll in the program today, I will also include private one-on-one session via Skype or a Zoom with me. It's an intake assessment and soul guidance pathway plan coaching session. 30 minutes with me one-on-one, and I will really help you to get clear on what you're going to resolve using the program to start with. Then bonus 2 is a post-program 30 minutes with me. This is to maintain your momentum so that you don't fall back into one of those slumps, so that you can keep moving upwards and inwards and forwards, right? So it's another coaching call if you choose to go with this today. I'm also offering $800 off. I know it seems weird to do that, right? But I really want you to have these resources. It will change things for you. And it's changed my life. It's changed my client's life. It's in the process of changing my current client's life. I'm seeing amazing results. I even had a lady who came to me with 15 years worth of panic attacks and anxiety, couldn't even drive her newborn daughter to the midwife, the local midwife, less than 5 kilometers away because of her phobia of driving. Within 2 weeks, she'd only gotten to level 1 in this program and had driven on her own with her baby to the midwife to have their first session together and home again by herself. And then the following day, she traveled 15 kilometers into a completely unknown area of her town by herself as well, and did not have a panic attack. She had the skills to overcome her anxiety in the moment, and she was consciously unblocking all of those fears and stresses and traumas in her energy field that allowed her to break through in just a couple of weeks of this program. Only level 1. It was phenomenal. I was really excited. I've got lots more stories about people like that as well that I could tell you. It's really exciting to me to watch people evolve into better and better and better versions of themselves and to start to shine. Because if you're even on this call, you have the capacity to create radical change in your life, but also a ripple effect into the lives of the people that you love around you. And that ripple effect is why I do these workshops. I want to create a ripple effect. If I can give you some tools that will help you, I have then created another ripple, and you're going to create ripples in your world, and it becomes exponential change that shifts humanity into a light-based, peaceful way of being. And that is why I do everything that I do. And that is why I'm offering you $800 off this program. So all you have to do to get the discount is enroll now. You can do it in 2 ways. You can pay $697 for the entire SOS program. That's all of those things on the previous slide. All you need to do is go to the link at the bottom, www.myholisticnurse.org/SOSENROL. So that's myholisticnurse.org/SOS-enroll. And these buttons, you'll see them. So you can pay in full today, $697, and you get the bonuses and everything else that's in the program for that crazy price. Also, if you don't want to do it that way, no problem. For an extra $1, you can pay a deposit of $197 only now, and then we organize 3 installments of $167 as well. And you can just pay that deposit via credit card from the website. If you don't want to use credit card, let me know in the chat and I can sort out an internet transfer setup for you if that's easier. If you don't do credit card. I actually don't do credit card myself, so I'd like people to know that I really want you to have alternatives. So I want to now thank you so much for coming on board. I really, really appreciate your time. I know that time is precious, and I know as well that it takes enormous guts to step into the possibility of doing your life differently than what you've been doing. And you've stuck around to the end, so congratulations on learning some new things that are going to help you, and congratulations on having access to door number 3. Yay, you got to the end. If there's any questions that you have, you can email me at myholisticnurseaustralia@gmail.com. And I really, really want to say thanks from the bottom of my heart. Here we go. here's me again to say goodbye. From the bottom of my heart, I really, really appreciate you being here. I am compelled to share what I know. It is why I do anything in life, is because I passionately want you to be well. And so that's why I do 2 hours of training free of charge, because honestly, if I've given you something that you can go away with today, or you want to come with me and do it even better and even faster and really get some traction with your health so that you can start living a beautiful, luminous, shiny life, then this is my purpose. This is why I'm on the planet. So thank you for letting me share with you. If you'd like to talk to me, that would be awesome. And thanks. I'm going to sign off. I hope to see you again very, very soon. See you soon. Have an awesome day, a shiny, shiny, bright day. And I'll see you another time. Bye.